What's up, guys? In this video we are going to explore different views of a structural model, and in addition we are going to create multiple plan views by using the existing views in the project browser. So this is Revit 2026 for structural design. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to turn on the project browser. Just right click browsers and look for project browser, and then for the properties you can also right click and then select properties. That's it. Okay, so now let me just open my default 3D view and let me just show you some of the tools that we can use to view or explore our view. Okay, so you see here there's my navigation bar. So if ever you close that one and then you want that to be placed again, so what you can do is you can go to the view tab, and then after that you can go to the user interface and then just look for the navigation bar. Check that one and then you will be able to enable it again. So if you go to the user interface, here you can also see the view cube, which is this one. You can turn on, turn off your view cube, and then you can also control here your project browser. Okay, as well as your properties. Right, so here on our navigation bar, so we have here the full navigation wheel. So if you click that one, so this is your full navigation wheel wherein you can use that to orbit. You just hover your pointer to the orbit part and then hold your left click, and then you'll be able to orbit your view. Okay, and then you can also use the zoom here. So just hold your left click and then forward to zoom in, and then backwards to zoom out. Okay, so that's your navigation wheel. And then you also have pan here, so just hold your left click and then you will be able to pan. Can orbit, you can put the center. Okay, let's say you want this to be your center, so just click that. So that's now your center. So that's the pivot. So if you orbit, so that's now the pivot when you orbit your model. Okay, so pan, orbit. So let's say this is my center, so I click here. There you go. So that's now my pivot. So when I orbit, so that's how it how the view orbit your model. And then you can also use the walk tool. Walk tool, you can do that if you are in perspective view. Okay, so as you can see here, the walk tool requires perspective view projection. So what you can do if you want to use your walk tool, so you can go to the view tab. Okay, so you can go to your view cube and then right click, and then you can select here perspective. So click that one, and there you go. And then I'll just use my steering wheel again, and then I'm going to zoom out a bit, orbit, and then I'll try the walk tool. Hold your left click, there you go. So you need to practice controlling when you are using your walk tool, so like that. And then you can also use up and down like that. So up and down, and what else? Look around. Okay, all right, so that's your navigation wheel. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to open my first floor plan. So let me open my first floor plan here. So there you go. And then you can also explore the navigation bar here. So there's also a 2D wheel. So this is not the full navigation wheels. So this is just a 2D wheel. So if you go to the 3D, so there you can use here the full navigation wheel. So in 2D view, so you can use 2D. Okay, so you can use pan, you can use zoom in, zoom out, and then you can also rewind. Okay, all right, so you see this icon here. So this is the tool that we can use to zoom our model. So as you can see, there's a zoom in region. So let's click that one, and then I'm going to try that. So let's say I want to zoom on that part. So there you go. So I'm going to zoom out. So let's say you want to zoom in here, so you can roll your wheel button to zoom in, or you can just use your zoom in region. So the shortcut is ZR. Okay, so you can type ZR on your keyboard for your zoom in region command. Okay, so what else? So you also have here zoom out twice. Okay, so that's self-explanatory. So zoom to fit. So that's zoom to fit. Shortcut for zoom to fit is ZF. Okay, so like that. So I'm going to type ZF. There you go. Okay. So ZF for your zoom to fit, and then zoom all to fit ZA. So if you have multiple views like this one, I have second floor, I have 3D, and then I have first floor. So I'm going to select here tile views. Okay, so now here I'm going to select zoom all to fit. There you go. So it's now zoom all to fit. Okay, so those are just some of the tools that we can use to view our model. So now going back on my first floor, so I'm gonna click here on my first floor window, and then I'm going to select here tab views. So I click that one, and then I'm just going to zoom into this area here. Okay, and then I'm going to open up a section. So you see there's a section here. So what's the name of this section? So that's section 3. So this is section 3. How did I know? So you can hover your pointer to that section, and then you can see the name there. So section 3, which is this one here. Okay, so the other section here is this one. What's this? So this is section 2. So let's say I want to open the section 2. So I'm going to select the section 2, and then right click. I can select go to view to open up the section 2, or you just go directly to the project browser and then double click section 2. Or another way is click outside to deselect the section, and then just double click the head here, this one, this arrow head, just double click that, and it will open up your section. Okay, so you see there's a call out here. So this is what you call a call out. So if I'm going to hover my pointer here, what does it say? So it says call out of section 2, which is this one here. So if I double click that, so that's that call out. Okay, so I can also close the other views here that I don't need. So let's say second floor, 3D, and first floor, I don't need that. And then I want my section 2 and call out of section 2 side by side. So I'm gonna select tile views. There you go, and then I'll just zoom out, zoom out. You see, if I adjust my section 2 here, my call out will also adjust here. So it's bidirectional associativity. So if I click that, as you can see, it's selected here. So if I adjust this, you will see that my call out is also adjusting. Right? Okay? Alright, so that's how your call out works. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to create multiple plan views. Okay? Multiple plan views. So let's say I'm gonna create a multiple plan view for my second floor. So I'm gonna double click second floor. I'll just close my section 2 and my call out of section 2. So I have my second floor here. So here on my section second floor, by the way, you will notice my second floor here, my structural framing here shows line, right? Because you can control it here. So let me just change the scale from my view control bar. So I'll change the scale to 1:100. Again, these tools that we have here, this view control bar, it only controls the visibility or the settings of your current view. Okay, so our current view is second floor. So any changes that we do here, it only applies to the second floor. So if you go to other views here, so they have a different settings of view control bar. Okay, so now here, you see my framing, it shows single line because of this detail level here. So if the detail level is set to coarse, it shows single line. So if I select medium, what does it look like? See, that's how it looks like now. Okay, so if I change that to fine, so nothing happens. So your detail level controls the way your structural framing, your duct, your pipes, your conduit, and your column shows in your model. Okay, so if you want them to be just a single line representation, you can just select coarse. Okay, like that. But if you want a complete normal showing or visibility of your framing, you can select fine. Fine detail level. Okay, so you can also change here your visual style. So I can change that to shaded view if I want. I can also change that to hidden line if I want, or I'll just go to wireframe view. Now, what I'm going to do here next is I'm going to duplicate my second floor. So to duplicate, just right click your second floor, and then there's an option here, duplicate. Okay, so I'm going to select here duplicate. So as you can see, we have several options here. So we have duplicate, duplicate with detailing, and then the other one is duplicate as a dependent. So for this exercise, I'll use duplicate here. So see what will happen. So if I select duplicate, you see, if you select duplicate, it will not include the details, the tags. You see, if I go back to my original view, there are tags here, right? But if since I only selected duplicate, so it only duplicate the model elements. Okay, right? So for this one, I'm going to rename this. Just right click and then select rename. I'm going to call this second floor dash working. Okay, and then I'll press enter. Okay, so this second floor working view is independent from the original second floor view. So we can use it as a working view to further build the model and coordinate with a referenced architectural plan. So the original second floor view can contain the annotation and be used for documentation. Okay, so now the next part of the exercise is we're going to create a new view with detailing. Okay, so let's do that on our second floor. So let's right click that, duplicate. This time let's use with detailing to include the annotation tags. So I'm gonna select this. All right, so there you go. And then let's just rename this. Right click, rename. I'm gonna call this second floor overall. Enter. Okay, so this view is also independent of the original second floor view. So we can change the view to a coarser scale that allows the entire plan or multiple overall plans to fit on the sheet. Okay, so additional annotation belongs to the view and does not display in the original view. Okay, so if we're going to add additional annotation here, it will only reflect in this view and it will not be added to the original view. Okay, so now the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to create a new view as a dependent. Okay, so let's do this. So this is the third option of duplicating. So let's right click the second floor, and then this time I'm going to select duplicate as a dependent. Okay, and then as you can see, a new view named second floor dash dependent 1 is now created. Okay, so it's now added on our project browser, and you will notice that it is listed under the original view. So this is the parent view, this is your dependent view. Okay, and notice also that the annotation tags are visible in the duplicate view. So for this one, I'm going to right click this, And then I'm going to rename this. I'm going to call this second floor dash west. Oh, west. And then I'm going to press enter. There you go. Right. So now in this view, I'm going to select the crop boundaries. Okay. And we're going to resize the view to display only the portion of the plan between the grid lines A and D. Okay, so let me just adjust this like that because I named this west, so I only want to show the west part like this. There you go. Okay, so this view is dependent to the original second floor view and shares the same view settings. Okay, so they have the same view settings. So unlike the other duplicated view, which is working and coordination view, which is independent from the original view, this dependent view is dependent here. That's why it's called dependent view. Okay, so the view shares the same view settings such as scale, detail level. Okay, annotations added to the dependent view also display in the parent view. Okay, and vice versa. So now we are going to create another dependent view of the second floor. So if we have west, so I'm gonna create east. So let's right click this, duplicate as a dependent, and then let's name this. Right click, rename. So I'm gonna call this east, then enter. Okay, so now let's adjust this. So I'm gonna select the crop boundary. So from D to G. Okay. So now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to open the parent view, the second floor, and then I'm going to put a match line here. Okay, so I'm gonna put a match line. So from the view tab, so I need to find the match line, which is this one. It adds match lines to indicate where a view is split. Okay, so use the object styles dialog to customize the look of match lines by editing the line weight, the color, and pattern. Okay, so I'm going to select match line. Okay, and then let's say I'm going to put one here, first point, and then here's my second point here. And then I select here modify to terminate the tool, and then I'm going to select here check to finish. Okay, so just check that one, and there you go. So we just created our match line here. Now if I want to modify my match line, so I am gonna select the match line, right click, and I'll use here override graphics in view, and then I select here by element, click that one, and then here I can change the pattern. So let's say the pattern will gonna be dash. So I just select dash, and then color is, let's say, red, and then the line weights, let's say 5. Okay, and then let's apply that, and then okay. So there you go. So now if I want to see the line weight of this, I'm just going to turn off the thin lines, because right now the reason why I don't see any line weights of my elements here, it's because the thin lines is enabled. So I'm going to disable this. There you go. See? So that's now the line weight, and it also shows the line weight of the other elements. So there you go. Okay? So that's how you create your match line. So hopefully you learned something from this video. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.